Hey, I'm here with Sam Wood. We're in Melbourne, Australia, and hey, Sam.
Hey, mate.
We've just had a great conversation about Sam's journey, which has been an eclectic one. So I thought it'd be good to share what Sam's done and kind of his thoughts on where he's kind of come and what he's kind of learned along the way. So I'll let Sam introduce himself, and then we'll unpack your story a little bit.
Sure. G'day, guys. Here in my office, Melbourne, Australia. Nice to chat with you all. It's been a long journey. I'm in the fitness space here in Melbourne. People know me in this country as I was the Bachelor in 2015, and I was a personal trainer well before that. And since the show, I have created an online training and fitness program called 28 by Sam Wood, which would currently be probably the third biggest online training nutrition program in Australia, and I think we're getting close to number 2. We've had over 100,000 people do it in the last 20 months, and it's growing all the time. And best thing in business that I've ever done.
Yeah, sensational. So one of the things we were talking about before, Sam, was around getting that public attention after you came off The Bachelor and people starting to recognise you. Do you want to kind of talk about how you navigated that attention?
So it was a whirlwind. I literally went from being the guy that could walk down the street completely oblivious to anyone, or anyone being oblivious to me, and that turned on its head probably in a 2-week period. That went from TV ads, social media ads, trams, billboards, trains with my head plastered all over it as the show was launching, everyone recognising and pointing. So it's a real shock to the system in a very quick time. And I mean, I had a few different attitudes. The first one was lots of good things were happening almost immediately from the show, from improvements in my gym, getting busier, and great social media opportunities and the ability to do something like 28. So I've always sort of said you can't have your cake and eat it too. You need to take the good with the bad, and doesn't take any energy to smile and be nice to people and be a good bloke. So I've always sort of adapted that attitude. But it was definitely a bit of a shock to the system. And one of the ways that I dealt with it was, I guess there was 2 things. One, it brought me really close with Sneej, my partner that I met on the show, and because we'd both been through a very unique experience together, it was nice that we could kind of bounce off each other and talk to each other as we went through it together, even though it was a different experience for both of us. We were both had a similar, been exposed to a similar thing. And the other thing is you just crave the attention of your closest friends and family. It's the one time I've always been close with my friends and family, but you really do just want to go and hang out with people that know you for you and the old you, and don't treat you any differently. In fact, they deliberately don't treat you any differently.
Probably grill you a little bit.
They do. They give you a bit of a hard time and a bit of stick and keep you really grounded. So you kind of crave that kind of thing. Then there's the whole social media side of things, and Twitter and Instagram and comments on posts in the media and paparazzi following you around, and there's a real invasion of privacy. And if you're one of those people who wants to read things about yourself, I typically don't think that that's a terribly healthy thing to do. I'd always try to avoid these things. It's one of those things you kind of go, I don't read that stuff, and then one of your best mates will go, check out this guy, Woody, and what he said about you. So it's always going to get you at one stage or another. But my attitude has always been, if you don't know them personally, you don't take it personally, because I think if you do, it's going to eat you away, and it's not going to be good for anyone.
Mate, you've obviously stayed grounded with a really positive support network, because just chatting to you before, it's Sam's wonderfully genuine, so down to earth, and you can just see it come across in what he's talking about now. So that's awesome. Okay, so the last question I love to ask everybody who comes on is, if you could wind back the clock to the start of your journey could be anything, right? The start of your business, because Sam's very entrepreneurial by nature as well. Whether it's the start of your business journey, the start of the Bachelor journey, start of your life journey, conditional on you listening to your own advice. What would you tell younger Sam? Well,
younger Sam was a bit pig-headed, so I don't know if he would have listened, but assuming he would have listened, I'd probably, I was so ambitious and determined at times that when things weren't working, I was unable to see that they weren't working. I was determined to just keep forging forward, and perhaps I should have stopped, evaluated, and been comfortable with walking away. I think my ego and my determination to succeed and my ambition blinded me a little bit. And look, I've always sort of thought you know, these people that say if you do what you love, you never work a day in your life, and all these sort of cliche sort of things, or you know, like even people
Absolutely,
like Richard
man.
Branson about, you know, like if you think about the money, you won't make the money, and it's, you know, you just got to do what you love.
Yeah.
And I've always kind of thought that's all very well for you, Richard, with your success, but once you do become successful, and obviously there's levels of success, but once you do become successful, you kind of understand what that finally means. You know, if you're blinded by your determination and your pig-headedness, and you know, you just go with the blinkers on, it's going to be quite detrimental. You need to stop, reevaluate. I think you really need to enjoy the little successes on the way, and not be too focused on the final big picture. I mean, I tend to focus a lot less on money now. Like, it's a vehicle to have the life that I want. It's not the actual outcome.
Absolutely.
I don't know if that really answered your question, but the old me, I would probably just say never stop believing in yourself, because if I had, I would not be here now.
Mm-hmm.
And when in doubt, say yes and take the jump. Because for me, if I had not applied to go on The Bachelor,
Yes.
I wouldn't have met my fiance, I wouldn't have met my stepdaughter, I wouldn't have a beautiful little girl now with that person that I met on a freaking reality TV show, and I wouldn't have an incredibly successful business that's going to change my life in a myriad of ways. So I just think to myself, you know, I was kind of umming and ahhing, this is a big decision, do I or don't I do it? And if I'd said no, it would have been the worst mistake I'd ever made.
Mate, I love it. Serendipity. You can never.
Serendipity. That's right.
You can never paint the picture before it happens. Awesome. So if anybody wants to check out more of you, Sam,
yes.
Where should they find you? Where should they find 28?
So can join my program at 28bysamwood.com if there's a plug, or you can just do free workouts, get free recipes.
How many kilos have you helped Australia lose?
100,000 people have lost well over 1 million kilos.
There we go.
So it's the real deal. Workouts are 28 minutes, obviously, under half an hour. But I've also got a YouTube channel, Sam Wood TV, where you can do free workouts, free recipes, subscribe to get sort of motivation and inspirational stuff coming through every week. If you just want to hang out with me every week and for free, check that out.
Awesome. We'll make sure we link it in the show notes. But Sam, thanks so much for joining us.
Pleasure, James. Cheers. Thanks.